Hello and welcome. My name is Campbell and this is Spiral Up, where we talk about practical, everyday things we can use to improve our experience and get more of what we want. And today I wanted to talk about what is it that you want. You know, so many of us have have problems, really pinpointing what it is that we want to do. You know, what is our passion? What are we here for? What should we put our energy and our focus into? Because there is a lot of distraction, and a lot of people have problems with really focusing in on what it is that they want. So today I wanted to get into that. Let's have a chat, and I have a technique that you can use that will help you pinpoint exactly where you want to go and why you want to be doing it. So let's get into it. Okay, so what is it that you want? Do you know what it is that you want? Because, like I said, many people have problems just, really deciding and defining what it is that they want and also why they want to do it. And then we have the other issue of people who have plans and, dreams and they say that they've got these things they want to do, but that the problem is getting started and actually taking the action to bring that to fruition. So what is going on here? Well, one of the main things that is happening is, we live in an environment that is full of distractions. We are bombarded daily with so many distractions. It really is a game for our attention. So that's the first thing is to really start to spend more time inside with yourself and your own thoughts. Because that way you're living life from your perspective, rather than if we spend our time focusing on what's going on around us, what the media is saying, what other people are saying and doing, then we're really living life from a perspective that is not quite ours. It's really an imposed perspective. And when we look at life and make plans from that perspective, the plans we make aren't ours. And the life that we see, it doesn't really quite work because it's not our perspective. Because basically all our thoughts and opinions and emotions are skewed by outside events. So that's the first thing, is to spend time with yourself. And it doesn't have to be meditation. I definitely always recommend meditation. There are tons online on YouTube and other platforms, free to use, that you can just listen to, and they're guided. But otherwise, just reading books that inspire you, listening to music, writing in a diary, just spending time thinking, daydreaming. That's a big one. Really spend time and let your mind wander, because that's really you. That's the essence of you, without the external factors, having their sort of forks in there. Now, so this is the thing. So when people have an idea of what they want, they can just get distracted. And it's this whole thing of we must do, we think we must do what society tells us to. We must have a job so that we can have a house, so that we can feed. If you have a family, you don't have a job, what are you doing? You're a bad person. Well, how are you paying for your house? Are you paying taxes? It's all this, so there's all this stuff going on. So if we have a dream, most of our dreams aren't in, the system. They're not in a job. There's something outside of that. So we need to do them in our own time. And this is what makes it so hard. And when you look around at people, you'll find that the only people that actually make their dreams come true, are the ones who say, well, I'm just going for it anyway. Now, the ones that just say, I'm not going to join the system and get a job and build myself into a place where it's then harder to get out of to create my dreams. They just head for their dreams with trust. Okay, and this is kind of what we need to do. And I'm not telling you to go and quit your job if you're lucky enough to still have one. Or lucky, if you still have one. It may be lucky, it may not be. And that's also another thing that we've all got as an opportunity at the moment. If you aren't working at the moment, then what do you want to do with your time? Apart from sitting around, what do you want to create?
And if you're working in a job, how do you get out of there? What's your plan? Can you go part-time? Can you work from home? Are there steps that you can sort of use to get out of that job rather than making the cut? Because, we still need to live at the moment. I understand this. We need money, but we do need to be living our lives, and jobs and all this kind of stuff is such a distraction that takes up, 80% of our lives. So there's not a lot left as far as time and energy, at the end of the day to focus on our dreams. So the first thing is, spend that 20% that you've got at the moment doing something, just deciding, spending time with yourself, really, letting your mind wander, and then starting to get in touch with what it is that you really do want. And so the other scenario is not knowing what you want to do at all, sort of being lost. And it kind of comes down to the same thing. It's really the main problem is looking at your future and what you want from the outside perspective and not your own perspective. Because again, when we create plans and dreams and visions that are dependent on our circumstances, then they're not plans, dreams and visions. They're us trying to conform, because this is the thing. If you make, if you want to, buy some land in the country and build, a farm, live off the land, be off grid, but you're at the moment you don't have money to do that. You don't have the money in the bank. You don't have a job that's going to provide that. If you come from the perspective of, I can't afford it, I can't get a job, blah 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 blah. How will I get a loan? Then you've just given away your power, because you've got to understand that money doesn't come from people, land doesn't come from people. Everything is energy. This all comes to us from, whatever you want to call it, the universe, God, the great spirit, nature. This is where it comes from, not from people. This is the manipulation. This is what they want us to think, is that, the only way to get money is to go and work for it, or to start a business or something. But that's not true. And the other thing is, the only way to get something is to have money. The only way to get a car is to have the money to pay for it. That's not true. People win cars all the time. People get given cars all the time. People have windfalls all the time. People inherit things. Circumstances, they just come together to make things happen when you have the intention. And I could talk about things that have happened to me, and I may in the future, because, there's big things happening. And, I've really got to tell you that I've come from a place where I didn't have any of the resources to get done what I wanted to get done. But now I find myself in a place where I just pretty much have everything that I was wanting, not so long ago. And it had nothing really to do with money. It definitely had nothing to do with me going out and getting a job and joining the system or starting a business. It was much more an intention thing, and things just pop out of the ether at you. They really do. And I'll get into that story because it's a good one, and there's big things happening. So if you've watched my other channels, you may know a bit of what I'm talking about. But this is the thing. You can't focus on your dreams in the future from circumstance, because circumstance is physical. It's not real. It's an illusion. Everything is energy at its core. And what physicality is, it's just a way to express energy that we can read it through our five senses. That's pretty much it. So, what's outside of us is everyone else's opinion, and it's those who wish to control us in the media, and they put out this storyline from us. So if we create from that storyline, we can only create something else that's within that story. It's much better to become the author of your own book and your own superhero and write from there. So that's the big point is to create from a place that is you. And to do that, we need to spend time with us. And the more time you spend with yourself, the more you're going to get in line with what it is you love to do and what you want to do and what you should be doing. And this brings me to the next point, which is, many people that, they decide what they want to do, but then they talk themselves out of it. It's like, but how do I do it? I don't have the resources. Would anyone be interested? Well, the answer to all of those is you don't know. You don't know. So why not, put it out there, put some trust in the universe and yourself and just go for it. Because that's your only chance. Because your only other option rather than that is to talk yourself out of it, take no action, and then you can only fail. So your only option, to a better life is to a bit of trust, a bit of belief, a bit of trust that the world is a good place. It's got your back. And take that step out on the road, and then the road, or the path shall appear. So trust, don't talk yourself out of things. What your gift is needed. It is wanted by people in this realm, or else you wouldn't have that feeling. If it wasn't needed, you wouldn't be thinking about it. You wouldn't, have the emotional attachment to it or the thoughts, to do it. So it is needed, believe me. Most of the time it's your gift that you're sent here to give the world. But all you need is that bit of trust just to take the first step, because, as I've said, once you take that first step in trust, amazing things will happen. And as soon as that happens, you'll see it. Your trust will go through the roof, and you'll go, okay, next step. And before you know it, you'll be jogging. So it really is just getting over that first step. And we're all of society is really telling us, don't take that step. Be afraid. Don't do it. What about this? This could happen. This could happen. Things, they tell us all the bad scenarios. When was the last time people go, oh yeah, bad things might happen, but, imagine what good could come from it. Imagine, if it went well, where you would be. They don't say, oh yeah, you could fail, but that doesn't matter. Then you can just try again. It's just a mistake, right? That's not what society tells us. And so a lot of the time we all come from this place of, should I? Oh, it's hard. Oh, it's scary. No, it's not. It's just an opinion. It's just a thought that no doubt came from someone else and not from you. So trust yourself. Trust yourself. Trust that what you want to do is valid and it is needed, and just trust that you can do it. Trust that whatever you need, the people you need, the resources, they will show up when they're needed, because they will. If you trust, I guarantee they will. They really will. Okay, so the last bit I want to hit today is, it's a technique, and it's called the 7 questions technique. And what this is to do, this is really to decide, what it is that you want to do, but it's also why, because this is the big thing. Many people, have these ideas of what they want to do, and you ask them why, and they're not really sure. And unless we know our why, we tend to fail. We tend to not put the action in that is needed. When you know your why, then, nothing can stop you. It's like a mother. If her why to building a business is to give a better life to her children, then not much is going to stop her. If a healer, if their mission is to, make as many people's lives better as they possibly can, then not much will stop them. But if someone's starting a business because, they want to look cool and they want a nice car, it's not really a why, and they're not going to go that far. They just won't have the motivation. They won't have the petrol in the tank to keep going. So the why is your energy that'll keep you going. So it really is the thing that we need to work out. Once we work out our why, then we're turbocharged. So the 7 questions. Now you can do this by yourself, but it is much better done with, your partner or a close friend, someone that you can trust. And basically it's 7 questions, and that's it. So the first question is, what is it that you want to do? Okay, and then the person, if you're doing it with yourself, you just write it all down. Otherwise, the other person writes down your answer. So what is it that you want to do? And you might say, I want to be a teacher. And they go, okay, question 2, why do you want to be a teacher? Okay, and you might say, I want to help kids. So they write down, your partner writes down help kids. Then they ask you that question, why do you want to help kids? You give them the answer. They write it down. They ask you why. And you do this to the 7th question. And I'm not sure why it's 7 questions, but something happens. And, the first 3 or 4, even 5 questions can be pretty shallow. Answers. They can be pretty shallow, but then suddenly, the last sort of, 5, 6, and 7, the answers that pop out suddenly get very deep. And, you probably will find that it's going to bring a few tears to your eyes. It may be emotional. So take it seriously, really, take it seriously and give, true answers from your heart. And you will find your why. And once you've found that why and you're emotionally attached to it, like I said, nothing will stop you. You're turbocharged. You'll be able to do whatever you want. Because just look through history, guys. Look at what people have done in a lifetime. How they've changed the world. That's all of us. We can all do that. And I think it's time that we all need to do that. Because we're in flux. It's time to choose the world that we want to create. So what is it that you want to do? But more importantly, guys, why do you want to do it? All right. I hope that helped you. Thanks for spending some time with me. Have a magnificent day, and I'll talk to you all on the next upload. Bye for now.